welcome everyone, and thanks for joining the second edition of Ocean Builders. It's great to have all of you here with us today. Ocean Builders, for you just to know, is a new series that's been launched to bring together members of the ocean community who are actively building on ocean to connect, share, show, and learn from each other. My name is Malte, and I'll be your host for today's event. A quick one on me. I started as a community member in 2019 in Ocean Protocol. Used to work as an ecosystem architect in Web 2 before, building some standards with some companies in the messaging space, and then joined the core team earlier this year. Here I support the OceanDAO, the ecosystem of builders, the development of new data products, and outreach when there's time. Today, for the second Ocean Builders event, we are very lucky to have 4 outstanding OceanDAO grantees joining us to talk a bit about their projects and share some of the things, of the great things that they've been building on top of Ocean. All of the 4 projects presented today received 1 or more OceanDAO grants throughout the 23 rounds. And as you will see, they have built some pretty cool stuff on top of Ocean together with us, with the grants. And for those who aren't familiar with OceanDAO, in a very small nutshell, it's a bit of a special DAO. It's an incubator where our community voted on grants for projects that leverage ocean tech, its smart contracts, data tokens, and or data NFTs to optimize and push for data consumed volume and traction on ocean market usage of the protocol. Today's selection shows an interesting journey in my eyes of OceanDAO from this bold new concept that Trent McConney, our co-founder, had called the Web3 Sustainability Loop to a true innovation platform in my eyes for data and AI and Web3. So today we will see different angles of how developers, builders, AI builders, data scientists use and leverage Ocean and its components to bring it to the world. So we will see how to combine Ocean, AI, and data NFTs from datalatte grantee. We will get a pretty cool sneak peek at how to combine Ocean, AI, DeFi, and data challenges into a new platform from DataX team with their new platform called Desights. We will learn how to combine Ocean, DID, so decentralized identities, our data NFTs for future SSIs, DIDs, and NFT standards in the EU and beyond from walt.id. And another one, great one, how to build one of the leading AI and data science product hubs, in my eyes, out of OceanDAO from Algovera. With that said, each of the 4 teams will have 15 minutes to give a short presentation about their project, followed by a quick live demo telling us about their journey, starting in OceanDAO and basically conquering data and AI in Web3 with us. At the end of each presentation, you will have the opportunity to ask some questions. So if you have any question during the respective presentation, make sure to drop it in the into this chat so we can have them answered in the Q&A session. So with that said, the first team to present today is datalatte. Its CEO, Amir, is one of the what we call OGs in OceanDAO. He's been with us from the very start. What he's building is an interesting aspect because he kind of combines retail users and fun with NFTs with actual data NFTs and real data ownership in Web3. So without further ado, Amir, here's the mic. Take it away.
Yo, man, thanks a lot. I'm Amir, founder of datalatte. And yeah, just a little bit about myself. My background, I have been a chip designer in the Web 2 world. I mean, chip design hasn't came to Web 3 world yet, it's hardware. And since 2 years, I really dig into empowering people with their own data. And I'm really excited to see how this is developing, especially the new development and new tools that is coming and people acknowledging the use of AI more and more. And we can see that how it can empower us. So have some couple of slides and also a quick demo, what we used actually in Web Summit a month ago. I'm sharing my screen. Do you see it?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so basically in the datalatte, we want to show you how to own your data and start earning from it. And the beginning, it started that we see a two-sided problem. On one hand, the data is monopolized and in control of handful tech companies. They use it to maximize their ad-driven profit at any cost, even manipulating us, the rightful data owners. They're selling our data to a highest bidder and violating our privacy without even our consent. And when small startups, researchers, economically developing nations do not have access to buy such a high quality data from these data monopolies, they cannot compete on the platform with the rest of the world. And on our app, we see that the solution can be through NFTs. NFTs are just basically about ownership. And we use it in datalatte to anonymize, tokenize, and monetize your data and give the full ownership to you. And offer this data for researchers to build upon. The first research market that we're targeting is market research. And we want to show an alternative, how it can be ethical market research, where users own their data, they can earn from their data, and at the same time, market researchers have access to a high quality community who is educated about the rights of their data and is eager to even provide a higher quality of data. To just show how we demonstrate such an experience for our users to gain, tokenize, and monetize their data, I have this short experience, and I like to go on with this with you, with Malte. So Malte, can you tell me if you like coffee?
Oh, yes, I do. Way too much.
Yes. So now I clicked on yes. You can see up there the smart contract that is tokenizing your data, and you also at the same time are earning reputation tokens, or what we call them, XPs. So do you put sugar in your coffee?
Yes, also too much.
Okay. Have you ever binge watched a full season of Netflix?
No, yes, all of them.
Yeah, we are all guilty. Which one would you prefer, Big Bang or Friends?
Definitely Big Bang Theory, Sheldon all the way.
Nice, man. So basically, it was just 4 questions. And imagine that each of them could have been a question in a survey that the client can come and ask you. And each of the times that you click on your mouse button, at that moment, you're tokenizing and monetizing your data and directly earning also reputation tokens. So now I'm going to go ahead and generate this NFT. So basically, when this goes on any NFT platform, let's say OpenSea, what you see is this. Nobody in the world sees that Malte put sugar in his coffee and prefers Big Bang Theory. And only Malte have access to his private keys and can authorize access through the fine-grained access control of data NFTs to provide researchers with his raw data. And now we can see that he put sugar, binge watched Netflix, and watches Big Bang Theory. And that's the type of insights that we want to give to researchers, but at the same time, make sure that Malte holds the ownership of this data and also can keep monetizing it and democratize basically his own data. So, sorry. So basically, at the core of our business, we are building a knowledge graph where we ask our users every day about their interests and habits through surveys. At the same time, we are connecting it to their consumer app data on our platform. And we are not going to sell such valuable asset of our community, but we're going to monetize it through insight and algorithm marketplace, where you only sell the taste of your data. Imagine your data is coffee and only selling espressos. And this knowledge graph, what you see here, it looks too cute and too maybe understandable. But deep down, with the knowledge graph that we are working on right now for our survey management system, looks something like this. It can look scary, but I want to talk about what is the difference between a knowledge graph data model and, let's say, a table structure data model. What we are used to is basically tables to store data, to look at it. When you go, for example, on Twitter, this app, when it collects data about you, on each day, for example, on which time did you log in, which post did you like, which post did you retweet, which post did you put a comment on, and each of these will go in separate tables. And this is not really intuitive for us humans to be able to read it and understand it. And also, when the volume of the data about you, about your profile, gets complex, and there is a lot of relations between different entities, knowledge graphs are the best to be able to store such a data. Basically, knowledge graphs connect different data points with links, which are actually words that the human understands. If we go down and start reading a knowledge graph, you can basically read it like a sentence. And if I tell you that if a human can intuitively understand his own knowledge graph and reads it through, then you can think that actually right now, language models like ChatGPT is also able to read your knowledge graph. So in not a far future, you will be able to access to a language model, to access to your knowledge graph, read it, and you can query in any type of insights that you want out of your data. It might, without this solution, it would have required a lot of resources and data scientists to be able to get the insights that you want from your table structured data. And this provides an alternative that makes the computation much faster and with much lower resources. And don't worry, data scientists are not going to lose their job. There is enough for them to do. And this is basically, it has been something that they have, anything that gets too repetitive is going to get replaced. And we humans, we just learn how to move the layer to use our creativity for our work and not doing things that are repetitive. And as a dApp, we are not going to solve the blockchain's trilemma. We leverage protocols like connecting like a piece of puzzle. And we like to build experiences where users tokenize their data, even without realizing the use of blockchain technology. So with that all, I just like to invite you guys, come to datalatte.com, go out to our dApp and mint your data barista NFTs. It's without any type of fee. You can upload your Netflix, Twitter, Spotify data. And from January on, we are launching our mobile web app, which will be specifically designed for surveys. And you will be able to earn much more, also stable coins and crypto there as well. So thanks a lot. And let's milk our data.
Thanks a lot, Amir. Great presentation. Thank you. And actually, one question that I had, or not that I received in the past, you already answered. So in the future, people can earn stable coins or Ocean and so forth. Probably also what you arrange with the companies doing the surveys or what the companies bring, right?
You mean the surveys?
No, I mean the earning of like for now in the early pilot phase, it's experience points, so XPs. But you mentioned stable coins or other currencies like Ocean.
Yeah.
So
yeah, when we go to clients based on the type of survey that they have, the effort that it has to fill, then they can allocate a certain amount of stable coins or crypto. And it's not just, if you go to Usability Hub or any other platform that has surveys, you need to pay actually with dollar. So what we offer them with a much lower price and comparing to, let's say, Web2 competitors, what they're doing, they take 90% and give sense of it to the actual people who are filling surveys. And we want to completely flip it. We want to take the smallest percentage and give 80 to 90% to the user, and maybe scale this percentage accordingly. That's the Web3 way.
The democratizing data ownership, basically, at its very core. That's really cool, man. That's really cool. Let me check the chat. Okay, this is there's a complex one from Mats. He's working with sensors in the Nordic powerhouse, so with city data. But maybe first, let's go to when IGA collection or IGA collection. Is that an insider? What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, IGA collection is the next batch of the NFTs, and we will go to launch that as soon as the INA collection. I think it was INA. Yeah, when the INA collection finishes, and it can take a month or even lower depending on what is the volume. But going to Matt's about the sensor question, I like it because I used to be a hardware engineer working with sensors, and basically the problem with sensors is that they are real-time data, meaning that there is a stream of data over time, and it is certainly possible to bring such a data to datalatte as well. But in our architecture at the moment, we are focusing on data points, let's say from surveys and so on, which is not real time. It doesn't change through time. You can answer to the same survey every month, which changes with time, but it's not like a real time signal. But I mean, you never know. We're just going forward. Maybe sensors at some point come in. Maybe the sensors of our smartphones or like this Apple Watches and everything can get connected too. Nice.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the back and forth. My camera is turning off sometimes. So here I am again. Yeah, that's really cool. You should definitely come along to our next ecosystem launch in 2 weeks, I think, after Christmas, because they are discussing this right now as well. Mats together with kids from streaming data, and they're working on actually introducing streaming live data even to Ocean Market. So sometime in the future, coming back to the core product, it's a really cool one, and it's close to my heart because I've also looked into the using NFTs basically. And this is one thing that I really love about this project. Is like we have data NFTs, right? And they're the IP ownership hooks in Ocean Protocol. While at the same time, there are all these NFTs out there that the people use as retail users, right? And you kind of brought both together. So you showed the people the fun part in the IP ownership part. So I think that's a really powerful enabler going into the future. Let me check if I have one last question, maybe, because I also noted some in the past. Right, give me a sec. Yeah, actually, do you plan, you mentioned that briefly, but I thought that was a super cool point. Do you plan to leverage ChatGPT or other language models in your future products?
Yeah, basically we want to enable users to have ChatGPT or other language models as their personal data analyst. You can enable such a models, read your knowledge graph, because reading a knowledge graph is basically like reading a newspaper if you compare it to a table structured data. And those knowledge graphs are able to understand it and query whatever insights you want out of your own data. And this way, we are not going to be dependent on all these applications from health and everything else that they're just milking our data and bidding it out and giving us some insights through the app. That's why we're using them. But imagine if language models like ChatGPT can do that for you now, and you just keep your data. You give access to the model to read from it.
That's so sick. So basically, the way that I log into Uniswap today to use my Ethereum, but MetaMask protects sort of my token, I could maybe one day log into a language model and you would take care of my data being protected, but still me being even incentivized for it eventually.
Yeah, exactly. Then you give access through data NFTs and say, okay, I'm okay if a language model comes for this type of application or this type of questions and query from my data and make sure that my identity is not revealed. And this is, it sounds complex, and it is complex, but it is where we are going. It's going to take time, but it's not going to be forever.
Cool, man. And we are here all the way to support you. And I know it's been an interesting year, let's say that, for every Web3 builder. And super glad you here, you stick to the mission and the challenge. And I think, like I teased, we're going to do great things together. And thanks for all your hard work, man, and the time you take. And also an inspiring lifestyle you are leading. Like, while you're a big project lead in an AI product, you're still kind of, when you find the time, living the van life. So this is also very close to my heart. I love to see that, man. So thanks for your presentation.
I'm going back to Roof in 2 weeks, so I just enjoyed while it lasted.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Amir. If there are no further questions in the room, I'd say thanks a lot, man.
I can write in the chat for some other questions.
Okay, cool. And actually, what I also expect is, because it's end of year, many people will watch the recording later, maybe even in some months. We don't know what happened. So expect some people to reach out. And thanks a lot for your presentation.
Yo, thank you, dude.
All right. So with that said, I try to keep a little bit of a red line for you. That was data ownership on end-user basis, applying a lot of data science and getting the data of the people ready for the AI revolution. Bringing us to our next step, our current main builder focus inside the core team, which is the intersection of, again, using Ocean Protocol and applying it to challenges, for example, in the DeFi space, and leveraging AI, and at the same time creating services that parts of our community, the data scientists and heavy developers, can use, which are the data challenges. And for that, I would like to invite our second guest on stage, which is Manan. He's been a founding member, actually, of Ocean Protocol. And when we started going to DeFi direction, he founded his own company called Desights, and he will give us his first sneak peek at his new product. So we are proud to have that. It's called Desights, and we're super stoked to have you here. Manan, the stage is yours.
Yep. Thank you, Malte, for the introduction. So yeah, I guess we can skip that part and save some time. All right, so let's get on to it. So just before Desights, so Desights was founded to basically grow the initiative of data finance, which is all the services in Web3 around data sets, AI, and ML. And our first product was Data Police, which was basically an AMM around data sets and AI. And this is our second product, which is Desights. And I'm going to present it to you right now.
Just real quick, everyone in the room, do you see Manan's screen and Manan? Because I still see Amir frozen, but it could be an issue on my end.
Can you see my screen, guys?
I still
see your screen, and it's in the right format. I think yours is multi-frozen.
Okay, I reload. Enjoy, Manan. I'll be back in.
Cool, no problems. So presenting to you Desights, which is basically a platform for focusing on data scientists, ML developers, AI developers. This is basically something that we wanted to build a long time ago in Ocean. So I think here's the origin story. So within Ocean, we wanted to build this, I think, in 2018 and 19, and the idea was codenamed ImpactNet. I think some people in the core team might hear about this term, ImpactNet. So basically, this was it. This idea was also pitched and proposed multiple times within Ocean Ambassadors Group, the Ocean Builders Group, in the early 2019, 2020, even before the OceanDAO. But it didn't happen, and now we are actually building it. So I'm really happy that this is getting built now, and I think this is also a good time to build this. So basically, why we are building this? Because we all believe that the future of AI is crowdsourced. We have seen that with the latest models of Stable Diffusion, also ChatGPT. So all this data has been crowdsourced, people's data. And that's how the AI gets smarter. And basically, we want to give back the power to the people rather than some centralized organizations. And what are we building? So basically, Desights AI is a fully decentralized Web3 platform to socialize, fund, and crowdsource solution to the toughest AI and ML challenges. So, for example, you might have seen the data bounties that Ocean is conducting right now, right? The price, predict the price of ETH. So imagine that 100 data scientists are working on that, and they get close to predicting the price of ETH. Then that model basically could be deployed in production, or it could be a price feed via chaining oracles fitted into the smart contract, and a lot of DeFi protocols could be built on top of that. So that's what we are trying to enable with Desights. This is basically something similar like Kaggle, but on Web3. So being on Web3 allows us to become open, decentralized, and also implement a lot of ownership rules and like royalty rules within it, so that the data scientists who worked on these challenges can also get a royalty out of it, even when the funders or someone is like monetizing these models and algorithms. All right, so this is just a very small snapshot of how the platform looks like. And yeah, let's directly move to the demo. So I want to basically put it out that the platform is not completely ready. This was like something that I agreed to do in between the building stage. The backend is being integrated. The front end is kind of ready. So I'm going to show you the front end. So this is how the landing page looks like. These are the features. So people can fund the challenges by funding it into decentralized pools, something like a multi-sig wallets dedicated to a particular challenge. Challenges basically like are AI problems that you want to solve with incentives as rewards. And also, while solving the challenges, people can form teams, collaborate with each other, share the ownership of the output result, and also socialize, and follow each other. And there's also a leaderboard. So there will be also a reputation system where you can, if you consistently perform well, you are at the top of the leaderboard. All right. It also has different themes. And now on to the app. So this is how the inside of the app looks like. You can see that this is my profile. Me being a data scientist, for example. I have a short bio. I have all my socials listed here. This is like my own website, Twitter, LinkedIn, Telegram, Discord server if I own one, Kaggle profile, so that we can also bring on the reputation from the Kaggle itself. Again, and by the way, it is Web3 enabled, so the wallet is connected here. I can edit my profile, change things. You can see it is reflecting in real time over here. And I can also change the images. Update the profile. Here you see there is some statistics. So this is the amount of prizes that I won. This is the challenges I have participated in. This is the challenges I have solved. These are the submissions I have done in this many challenges. And then these are the proposals that I have submitted. So far I have submitted none, so it's 0. You can also see here there are different organizations who are like doing the challenges. By the way, this is all hard coded, so don't think that all of them are already live here. But anyone can basically create an organization. So here you see I am a user as well as I am an admin in the OceanDAO. So if I switch to the admin profile, within the admin profile, you can see that I have created one challenge here. You can click on the challenge and you can see what the challenge is about. So the description, then the evaluation criteria, how the challenge is evaluated, what are the requirements, what are the data sets, So this data sets, basically, when you click on the link, it navigates to the Ocean market. So they are published in Ocean. The tutorial, you can also switch the theme here to the dark one. You can see there are no submissions here yet. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my user profile, and I'm going to do a live submission here. So I can go into challenges, and I can click on submit your proposal. I'll say predicted conception ratio is required so that the challenge organizers can contact you for the rewards and other stuff. This email is also encrypted before it is stored, so there is no problem over there. And then you can basically input some details about your submission. I can modify it, edit it. There are different types of editors that I can use. And I can also add images here. So if you see here, the image is added as well for the charts. You can align the images, and then you can submit, and then there's your proposal. So now if you go in my submissions, you can see that you have submitted this proposal for this challenge. It is in the review state. This is the time when you submitted it. You can see the accepted and rejected proposals here. And now I will switch back my role to an admin. So now this is the admin role which created the challenge. Can switch on that. Now I can see there is one submission, and I can go and review it, and I can see the submissions here. I can also see the details of the submitter, and then I can accept or reject it. And then also, so this was the challenge part. If you go on the organization profile page, you can see the organization bio as well. There are different social links as well for the organization, also some states for the organizations and the challenges that they have organized. Also in the expired, like if some challenges expired, they can also see that. You can also see the admins of the organization. You can reach out to them. As an admin itself, I can add or remove one of the other admins, can copy the addresses. I can also invite another admin to join the organization so that multiple people can manage the organization. And behind all of these are the smart contracts. So the entire flow is decentralized. I can switch back to my user profile, and yeah, I guess that's it. Yep, you're up, Malte.
Maybe you're still open to a question or two?
Yes, of course.
So what I already received, give me a second. I think, okay, now you can see me cool. I'm up there. It doesn't even matter. So what I was wondering, my first question would be an overall one. When I look at your platform and I see different challenges being accumulated or aggregated there, where do you kind of see your overall role strategically going into the future for Ocean, and also like combining it with your whole ecosystem? Because you're also a strategy guy. What are your thoughts there? What's your bigger reason for doing this?
Yes, so one of the bigger reason is, first of all, like getting lots of minds together, brilliant minds together, to work on important problems. Right, our go-to market for now is DeFi, because that's where lots of incentives are. Right, other like AI workflows and everything takes time, and a lot of the people might not be interested, or like they don't let's say stay there for long. And DeFi is basically where the money is, kind of, right? So it's kind of easiest use case to go after, and that's we are right now focusing on. And the first, I think, the customer or client or whatever you say is Ocean Data Bounties. That's what we created the platform for in the first place. And we plan to onboard a lot of the projects that you saw on the organizations, like within the Web3, to also conduct the data science or AI related bounties on the platform. I have already spoken with a couple of them. They saw like a lot of interest as well. So we might also see some of them here. So that also I think brings a lot of highlights and limelight, onto this Web3 AI narrative as well. And the main idea for this is like once something very interesting comes out of it, like let's say the ETH price predict challenge, right? So that's right, round 2 right now. In round 3, round 4, we will see increased submissions, and then the quality of the submissions will increase as well. So let's say at the end of round 6 or 7, we will start seeing something that has a very low error rate, and that is something very close to the actual price of it. And that is when we decide that, okay, we want to deploy this model or create a product around it, just like Stable Diffusion, right? So it gives you insights about it gives you you give the prompt and they give you like a prediction, or let's say the images, right? The same way you can send the request to this model and then they give you the price of it. And if it has 95% accuracy, then a lot of products can be built around it, even in DeFi space, right? And I think that would be one of the first use cases of AI in DeFi. And that's what also we are hoping for, to achieve that with this platform.
Brilliant, man. Okay, I try to, because that's the best thing I can do, kind of translate that as well to the maybe not well, you translated it great, but just to follow your line of thought here is that by going into DeFi first, we go into a vertical that has high velocity, so there's a lot of happening, right? There's budget, so people are interested in using it, and there's money to be made, which is also a good thing, autonomously for data scientists. While at the same time, with your platform, you already prepare synergies with other protocols, like I saw Filecoin and Chainlink as well. And once we're getting to a good accuracy moment, then we can just plug into them and connect to their systems fully. Brilliant. Wow.
Yeah. And we are not opposed to any other use case as well, but it's just like this is what we prefer to do, right? If there are other people who wants to do bounties, it's an open platform, right? It's permissionless, so people can go ahead and like create bounties, data bounties, AI bounties on top of it.
Really cool.
Even with outside of DeFi.
So you're both turning, say, DeFi models, but then also the availability of algorithms and the challenges into sort of a new product and platform.
Yeah, something like
that. Here, there's another. Okay, Amir is stoked. So our colleague who just presented before. Okay, he says datalatte is gonna come over and propose a data challenge on your platform. So
perfect.
Nice. So do you have any last comments or something you would like to say to the community, or some more teasers?
Yeah, I mean, I can basically. So I also wanted to highlight like how we are using Ocean here, right? So, exactly. So Ocean is not only going to conduct the data bounties on the platform, but we are also going to use Ocean within the tech stack itself, right? So the submissions that you saw, like when someone submits a proposal, that basically will turn into a data NFT, right? And on top of that, and those data NFTs basically is an IP, right? So when you submit a proposal, you actually own that IP, right? Or if it's not funded by you, you own a royalty to it. So we are going to work on royalty structure as well over there. So the funder of the smart contract, funder of the bounties can allow the data scientist who worked on those bounties to own the royalty or part of the royalty of that IP as well. So whenever, let's say, the price predict model is deployed onto the production, the data scientist who worked on it will also earn a percentage of rewards, or let's say percentage of the profits that is generated by that model forever in the entirety. So yeah, we are also working on that using Ocean. And one of the other uses of Ocean is compute to data, which we plan to integrate on auto-evaluating the results of the challenges. So the model will basically evaluate all the entries and check whose model performed better. And that's where we're also planning to use Ocean's compute to data.
Wow, man. You know, I'm a geek for Ocean and also for your work, so probably I could like chat the remaining 30 minutes with you. But so just, you know, summing up what you said, it's like every challenge that comes in from whoever puts it out could basically turn into a very powerful AI model in the future, if it's a really good challenge, right? And what you say is by making it a data NFT, once you start, you make sure that you can prove that this is my work and it started with my work. This is why I own it. Brilliant.
You don't even have to do that, because when you mint an NFT, data NFT, we plan to use RView, and your model gets basically deployed on RView, encrypted, and you as the submitter only holds the key to that model, right? So whenever someone wants to use that model, basically they will have to pay you either royalty or the full price if you are self-funded, and then only they will be able to use the model. So they will not be able to use the model even without your permission.
The token gating part, brilliant. This is really very close to Trent's vision, and of course, because you've been working with him for so long, great to see. And just a small sentence from my end, maybe if it's a data NFT, then I could even farm on it if it's a really great challenge, right? And becomes a data AI model. Cool, man. Thanks so much. I think that's it so far with the questions. Everyone, if you got further questions to Manan, if you want to collaborate, if you want to propose data challenges, if you want to be the guy building the next Stable Diffusion as a challenge, putting it on Manan's platform in a few weeks, reach out to him. You can find him on Twitter as Desights or as Innopreneur on Twitter. With that said, yep. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the holidays.
For having me here.
Thanks.
Yep.
So, with Manan having presented Desights, I hope you're excited as we are. Our next candidate is another one which I find very exciting. It's going to be Phil and a colleague presenting walt.id, which is a platform that started in OceanDAO, or got grants from OceanDAO, but then grew very quick, and they look very dedicatedly at the aspect of decentralized identities, data wallets, basically, right? What is your identity in terms of, say, a diploma you hold, maybe your passport in the future, and quickly joined initiatives in the European Union working on future standards for both data wallets, DIDs, and using, but I don't want to take too much away, Ocean technology, and it's just brilliant to see where you got. Phil, the mic is yours. Please enter the stage.
Thanks a lot for this fantastic introduction. Thanks for having us here. Yeah, I'll start sharing my screen. Oops. Okay, so welcome everybody to our journey with the Ocean Protocol. Yeah, it was an awesome year. And so it's great to have the chance to give a summary there, what we've built so far. Yeah. So, but first, I just want to introduce walt.id as a company and what we are building, because, yeah, maybe, I hope so, it's interesting for most of you, as we are Austrian-based company, and we're working since 2 years on building open source to enable decentralized identity. So, with our libraries, we enable different sorts of identity use cases, as Marty said already. On one hand, we are focusing on the specifications from the European Union to enable all kinds of governmental documents. And on the other hand, we are focusing on standards from or technologies from the Web3 space, like data NFTs. So at the end of the day, you will be able to authenticate yourself, not just with who you are, but also what you have, what you own for assets. Like you could have a data asset from, that we heard before, from datalatte or from the Desights, and yeah, and combine it even with identity documents and utilize this information in Web3 dApps, decentralized apps, but also in traditional enterprise authentication systems like with Keycloak or with Okta. Yeah, and yeah, our approach resulted in different core libraries that are listed here. So we started off with building the SSI kit for building self-sovereign identity-based use cases. We moved further to the NFT kit, especially focused on data NFTs. and both combined would enable any application to become an identity wallet. And so the idea is with the wallet kit that bundles everything together, you could use it as a dependency over REST services or as a direct dependency. And then you could enable your app to become an identity wallet itself. Also, an interesting approach is the storage kit, which enables a zero trust data architecture, where you encrypt your data on the client side and have it stored on a destination of your choice. And the IDP kit is the bridge to the Web 2 applications. So you could use your data NFT and bridge it over to some existing Web 2 application that I just mentioned. Everything can be further looked into in the docs. Yeah. Okay, but now to the Ocean Protocol project. And at this point, we really appreciate your support so far, because there have been a number of proposals that got fully and partially accepted. And I summarized them in a SSI section and in an NFT-based section. Yeah, and I will give you a short introduction to both of them. So kicking off SSI, I mean, this slide shows SSI in a nutshell, because I'm not sure if all of you know the concept, but I want to point out that for SSI-based use cases, the data is off-chain. Like so similar, like the examples we had with data used in AI cases, the data is off-chain. Only what's on-chain are the identifiers, which are more or less decentralized identifiers. This is the standard, and this is more or less the public key of the specific entities or that are using the system. And in an SSI use case, you typically have an issuer that attests data to an holder that's like a natural person, or it could be also an organization. And this data is wrapped in a JSON document that's called verifiable credential, and that's signed by the issuer's keys. And this data is then stored in a so-called identity wallet. This is something also the EU is rolling out in a couple of, let's say hopefully pretty soon, but it definitely will come. But also it's used in other use cases like the Gaia X data cloud that's currently built up. The main goal is that this data is kept in a self-sovereign way. It's under your control. You can control it like you do it with your existing physical identity, like your physical passport and so on. And then you could pull it out in a privacy-preserving fashion to some relying party, to some verifier. Yeah, this could verify the data based on the key it retrieves from the ledger. And we build up now components in the scope of those grants from Ocean. And yeah, this was in combination and in great support from the DeltaDAO team, and also thanks to Kai and his team also for this nice quote I just spotted on the proposal page. Switching over to the NFT-based use cases. While working with Ocean, we learned about data NFTs, and then we saw the chance to utilize this technology also to implement identity-based use cases. Everything is packed in the NFT kit, and this is now managing the interactions you need to verify data NFTs, more or less. Yeah, so you could implement your dApp with this with the NFT kit and build a very flexible authentication use case that we will see in a second in the demo. And you could also bridge this by using the IDP kit to an existing existing identity and access infrastructure, like with Keycloak. Yeah, that's where the NFT kit comes in to have this glue. Okay, by having said that, I'd like to switch over to my colleague Walid, and he will show you now how this will work in action, how to combine a standard OADC-based client with access controlled by a data NFT. Right.
Really cool.
Thanks, Phil. Okay, thanks. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So I am Walid from walt.id. In this demo, I will explain how to turn the ownership of data NFT into an identity use case. The idea is based on the ownership of a data NFT and also the data NFT metadata to look the access to any services. And this is based on the ownership of data NFT, the data NFT metadata, the sign-in with Ethereum standard, and the OpenID Connect protocol. First of all, I minted some data NFTs to my account address on the Mumbai Polygon testnet, and we can use our wallet to see that data NFTs. Here I am connecting to our wallet. And as you can see here, we have these data NFTs. And I will use these data NFTs to look some services on some website. So I will take over to our IDP kit. This is who will done the job of verification of ownership of data NFTs. If you want to run some instance about our NFT kit, you can use our documentation to run that. And then any client application that we will use the IDP kit will make some registration. And this is well documented. And so I go to some configuration because this is what enable the verification of data NFTs. I will use some default configuration. I not go deep into details to make it sample as much as possible. So I make here the default NFT token claim, which exists in the Mumbai Polygon testnet. I put here the factory OceanDAO smart contract address, and also I put here the smart contract address that manage my data NFTs. And also we can make more advanced configuration based on the NFT mappings, which is an array of multiple data NFTs. This configuration is based off the ownership of data NFTs. Also, we can enable much more advanced feature, which is the verification of the metadata of the data NFTs. And we can enable more advanced policies based on the open policy engine. So it will be something like that, which is a script that makes the verification of some policies. And in our IDP kit, we combine the data NFTs metadata with this script policy to check out if that policies are fit the data NFT metadata. And now I will go to run an actual demo. So we build some client application for the demo purpose. So imagine that this website have some services, and you look the accesses to that services using the ownership of some data NFTs. So you can use our IDP kit to do that. So here I will make sign in with the data NFTs, which will redirect me to the IDP kit. I will make here connect. So I will connect my account address using MetaMask, and then it'll show me to sign some message. So here we have the sign in with Ethereum protocol to make the verification that you own that account address. And if I want, I click sign here, the IDP kit, he will make the verification of the message signature, the verification if I actually own the NFTs that I put in the configuration file, and then he will, if there is some advanced policies enabled there, so it will take the verification all of that, and then he will make response to the client application with valid or invalid response depend on the verification process. So as I make here, I sign the message. It will make some times to the IDP kit to do all the needed verification. And then after a while, it will get me back to the website to see if the identification process is valid or not. And in our case here, you can see I am logged to that website using this account address based on the ownership of data NFTs. Thanks. I think that Phil, this is I done the demo, and the floor is yours.
Okay, thanks, Walid.
You are welcome.
Of course, lots tech and protocols behind, so we can't dive too deep, but you're welcome to reach out to us later if you're interested, and we cover these more technical aspects. But for now, I'm just want to close it with just a glimpse what we're planning to implement next, and that's more integrations. For instance, the data verification bot. So we're just working on a Discord and a Telegram integration that you could use your decentralized data, like data NFTs or verifiable credential, to token gate different channels or access to server and these kind of things. So yeah, looking forward to launching this next year. And yeah, that's it from our side. Please stay in the loop with us. Join the community channels like Discord or the newsletter. We're writing a monthly update if you're interested. And happy to stay in the community with you in Ocean. That's it from our side.
Thank you, Phil.
That's a few questions if there are any.
Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know if you can see me, but it really doesn't matter. I don't see myself on this wing at the moment.
We do see you, although it's frozen.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a bandwidth issue. Apologizing here. So you can hear me, or is it?
Yes, fine. Audio is good quality.
Okay, so I turn off the camera ideally. So thanks a lot for this presentation. It's amazing. So you can see how on the one hand side, like also talking to the audience, but also first of all, thanks a lot for the presentation, Walid. You did great. Phil as well. Thanks for explaining everything so well, because it's complex tech, but you really broke it down for us. So that's cool to see. Also, what's so cool to see is that on the one hand side, Ocean Protocol is so diverse and open, right? And we went from fun NFTs and surveys through DeFi data challenges, and now we're coming to EU standards, but also to very serious infrastructure. And it all leverages data NFTs, which is, you can imagine how many times I've been asked here, but why data NFTs? Why is there no ape on that, right? No ape JPEG. And I was always like, because there's far more behind data NFTs. And from what I understood and knew before from what you're doing, maybe question. So just the last sentence, a big Eureka moment for me, seeing you logging into a platform with a data NFT, sharing your data. This is also very close to the vision and very well done. The question I have would be, first one from the audience. How does it differ from Kilt in your eyes? Can it be seen as a possible partner, or do you rather see them as competitors? And what about MoveID for Gaia X? But I think you already briefly touched on that, but maybe.
Okay, very good questions. I mean, Kilt is an ecosystem for itself, right? And our approach is to be ecosystem agnostic. So we started off building use cases for the European blockchain infrastructure for EPSI. There's a European blockchain currently built up based on Ethereum Bezo. So this is one ecosystem we started. And then we moved to Gaia X and other ecosystems and we're actually building the abstraction layer. So I got it right, maybe not 100%, but Kilt is an ecosystem for its own. They have definitely their own DID method and their own rules, their own trust framework, right? And we want to just enable any application to use any ecosystem. So that's why we would see it as partner in this case. Yeah, definitely. And similar like with Gaia X. Yeah. You as a developer get one interface, but then you can talk to any ecosystem. Yeah. And we verify data based on their rules, basically. Yeah.
Interesting. It once again reminds me of something that Trent said many times to me when we were doing conceptual stuff. It was like sometimes I was worried, when other projects were like faster than us, building their own L1 chain or something. And Trent always said, man, it's just an L1, right? We are ecosystem and chain agnostic, and clearly shows that you adopted this mindset and do it that way. And I think that's the real enabler for Web3 infrastructure, or bringing together actually Web2 and Web3 infrastructure. That would be maybe one last question I have for you. I see you, me personally, I see you very powerful in bringing together Web2 world, where you kind of act as well in the European Union and the standards, but then also the Web3 world. So it could be like FANG from Web2, but also infrastructure from Web2, and you building bridges into the Web3 world. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, that's a nice one. It also depends a lot on the standards that we're implementing. For instance, if you imagine OpenID Connect provider, as we have it in the current world, where Facebook and Google are acting as identity provider for every person, right? This would be like the current approach. The Web3 approach actually is based on the new standard. That's where you act as your own identity provider. And so there is a standard called SIOP, Self-Issued OpenID Connect provider, and that's actually already accepted in the W3 standards community, right? And these are exactly the standards we are pushing and implementing. So you you're a self-sovereign identity provider, more or less, you're yourself. Mm-hmm.
The community will love to hear that, and it's just for me, the end of this year, it was an intense year, and now seeing all the things that have been built, in small pods and teams, and it all was kind of connected through OceanDAO, and that's great to see, and especially creating new open standards with full data sovereignty. I think this is what brought many members of the community actually to Ocean Protocol, and it's a sight to see that you're not getting closer to that, you're actually integrating these standards. And like I said in the beginning, having done some of that work before myself around standards, it takes time and time and time, and you work and you wait and you convince and bring your slide decks. And then you, at some point you think, is it even happening? And then it makes that click, and then the first one is accepted, then the second, then the third. Is that something you experience as well?
Yeah, quite a lot. It's working on the bleeding edge. Yeah, you always have to adapt to new updates and specifications, but the direction is the right one, especially from the EU. I would say, in my point, the vision is aligned, and so it's just all those different standard bodies that they work together and not drift apart. But as I see it, it's coming together. Yeah.
Amazing, man. Amazing. And thanks for doing this work. I know it's not always easy. It takes patience. It takes very convincing energy, and you're doing great there. Thanks so much, Phil. Also, thanks, Wally, for the great presentation. To take a look like under your magic computers doing that. Joking a little bit. Thanks so much for the great presentation. Looking forward to 2023.
Okay.
Thanks a lot,
guys.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
That was amazing. And and also thanks, Wally. And this brings me to my last candidate. Guys, we're running a little bit over time. I was a little bit irritated with some timings on my rider, but I hope you still find the last 10 minutes to stay with us for the last candidate, because to me, they're all equally cool and great and also promising in terms of scale. But in a little aspect, the last one is also very special to me. It will be Richard from Algovera, and he's also been one of the very first contributors to OceanDAO, as far as I know. Hi, Richard. And he did something special. He got his first grants, and then he, over time, not only built data product or AI and data products himself, and helped iterate and improve components of ours like computer data. He then eventually, because more and more data scientists and AI builders approached him, turned himself into like a micro hub for AI builders. But I don't want to steal too much. It's just cool for me that you do that. Everyone, please welcome Richard, and the mic is yours.
Thank you very much. Yeah, can everyone see my screen, first of all?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I'm Richard. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Algovera, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about our journey with Algovera, which started in OceanDAO, and also some of the stuff we've been building, and also like a quick demo of our new platform that we just launched. So Algovera is a platform for creating AI workflows in Web3 specifically, but also in Web2. And so like in terms of how we started, the idea actually came during the OceanDAO grants themselves. So me and my co-founder Hitesh, we were working on our own previous AI startup, where we implemented the full stack to build an application for motion analysis of athletes. And so like this involved, collecting a data set, coming up with our own deep learning model, figuring out how to deploy that model, and also creating a user interface through an app. So like this was a really long process was what we found out, and it requires a bunch of different stakeholders to come together. Like you need the main experts for the data, you need a data scientist to like create the deep learning model, you need an ML ops engineer to deploy the model, whole AI startup. And we were just thinking there must be ways to like make this faster, right? And so that's when we became interested in Web3. And the question we started asking ourselves is like, can we unbundle this process? Can the person who provides the data be different to the person who builds the model? Can that be different to the compute provider? And that can that be different to the app builder? And so can we bring a bunch of parties together to create something? And when that is when someone buys that, maybe we can distribute the rewards among everyone. And you can actually see a very early blog post that kind of talks about our thinking. And this was one of the deliverables of one of our early OceanDAO rounds. So Algovera is unique in that, we're completely funded through grants. We think this is a really well-kept secret that, this approach is now open to new startups. A lot of companies go for VC much earlier than us, but we've managed to survive for the past 18 months. Just on grants, and we're now a team of 7 people, 4 or 5 full-time and the rest part-time, and now we're starting to raise VC, but we're in a really good position where we've bootstrapped our team. We know much more about the idea and stuff, and so like what we've done for the past 18 months is work across a bunch of different technologies in what we're calling the decentralized AI stack. The majority of this is with Ocean Protocol. We've integrated things like IPFS and Filecoin. We've done work on C2D to integrate a full fork of the Ocean marketplace along with the rest of the stack, including C2D. We forked the front end. We included our integrations with decentralized storage, our integrations with data science platforms, and we just built that a few months ago. What we realized was that Web3 infrastructure is great, but it's still a little bit slow, and so sometimes we also want to choose speed over decentralization. Like for example, when we deploy an AI model, if we deploy that on the Ocean marketplace, for example, it takes about 2 minutes to get through all of the access control on the blockchain. And if you want to make a really quick request, this just isn't fast enough. And so what we thought is, in the meantime, let's continue to work with Web3 data, like from the Ocean marketplace, but maybe we can just deploy the models in Web2 for now, just to get that speed, while we also continue to develop the infrastructure to make it quicker. And so that's what Algovera Flow is. So Algovera MetaHub was a full fork of the Ocean marketplace. With Algovera Flow, what we're trying to do is, include the capacity to work with Web3 data, whether that's from a data marketplace, data union, oracles and things like that. And we allow people to run AI workflows on top of this Web3 data. And for the moment, all of the, model deployments and stuff like that are deployed in the traditional sense. So this allows us to increase like the data consume volume on the Ocean marketplace, for example. And eventually we also want to deploy the AI workflows themselves on the marketplace. It's just that we need to do some more research on decentralized infrastructure to allow this. That's a link to our app, but I'm also going to demo it at the end of this presentation. So just to give an example of what a workflow might look like using Web3 data, along with state-of-the-art AI models and workflows. we allow people to put building blocks together. Like, for example, you can choose an Ocean Marketplace building block, which is passed as input to some sort of large language model, whether it's Stable Diffusion or GPT-3. And then you can also, do something with the output as well. So maybe you want to post it on Twitter, for example. The other way that you can do it is you can, run AI models on Web2 apps. So maybe we want to do some sort of text summarization of different discourse proposals. And then maybe at the very end, we want to publish that data set to Ocean. So with our platform, you'll be able to increase the data consume volume of data sets on Ocean, as well as add more data sets. Another part that we're really passionate about, decentralized infrastructure is great, but there's another layer in the stack, which is the human layer. And I think if we really want to decentralize AI, what we want to do is to have more independent organizations. So at the moment, the vast majority of machine learning engineers just work for big tech companies and a very small handful of big tech companies. And what we want to try do, and what we think the grants are great for, is encouraging people to start their own project, dip their toes in, and then realize that they really enjoy it and that there's funding available, and tempt them to quit their jobs and go full time on their own projects. That's what happened for us at Algovera, and now we want to pass that on to more people. And so, what we wanted to do was create this micro grants program. It's now sponsored by Ocean, which we're really grateful for. We give out 10K per month to 10 different teams. We've given out 60 grants so far across 45 unique teams. Some of them you will recognize, some of them graduated to the larger OceanDAO grants, like, for example, Eden Protocol, Starting Blocks, Compass Labs. To our most recent round, we got 19 different proposals. And we got a bunch of proposals from Developer DAO. We had an earmark for Developer DAO projects, so we're really excited about that collaboration. And we also got one for creating a language model for writing DAO governance proposals from Bankless DAO. So we find these grants are a really good way to collaborate with other Web3 projects, as well as tempt people to dip their toes into the startup world and potentially quit their jobs in future, like we did. We also, fund research, AI research through our micro grants, and we worked on some decentralized AI safety research, for example. A bunch of our community members ended up submitting papers to NeurIPS, which is one of the most prestigious AI conferences, and we ended up getting 4 accepted in total, and 2 of these were from the community. So in terms of next steps, I'm going to show you a demo in a few minutes. We have one workflow up there, which is basically to run Stable Diffusion and mint it as an NFT. We're also working to get more workflows up there. One of these workflows is going to involve running state-of-the-art AI models on Ocean data using compute to data. We're also improving our UI and UX for building workflows. So eventually you're going to be able to build workflows through our platform. And also run them. And then in terms of our go-to-market, we're starting to reach out to different Web3 organizations to see if they could use AI workflows to help automate some of their tasks. Great, so that's my presentation. Do you want me to dive straight into the demo, or should I pause for questions there?
Actually, just the way you want. What do you feel better? Probably, maybe let's talk a little bit or check some questions. Data. So maybe I'll start with Robin. Hi, Robin. By the way, cool to have you in here. That's a ton of proposals. Congratulations, and actually, I can second that, Richard. Maybe a sentence or two. You already touched on. How does it feel to empower these new builders? Like, it's really like passing on what OceanDAO started in a way, and there are such great projects in there. Like, I personally work with Starting Blocks and Alex at the moment, for example, or Eden Protocol. What's your thought?
It feels great, and I think it's I think it's like a really important thing to have. Like I said, we can decentralize all the infrastructure that we want, but we really need to have a way of decentralizing the human layer of how people work. We don't want people, everyone working. Some people can work for centralized companies, right? But ideally, we'd have more independent organizations, and we've seen that effect through OceanDAO, which is, the number of people that end up quitting their jobs after after working on OceanDAO grants. We've also seen that through Algovera micro grants, and I think it's a really important part of the ecosystem, which is this this funding infrastructure for really early stage projects that just doesn't exist. And even now that I've started to go back to the AI world a bit more, you know, I've gone to AI conferences and stuff. There's just no funding infrastructure in the AI world for really early stage projects either. The only option you really have are like is VC, and that's not good. That's not good at the very early stages. And so one thing that we can bring from crypto to the AI world is this amazing funding infrastructure, this thriving ecosystem of startups that Web3 manages to create. So that's something that I'm really excited about, and I think is a really important piece of the puzzle.
Can imagine. A personal question from me, how you felt when ChatGPT came out, because for us at the core team it was like, man, that's what we've been building for years, and now people can start to inject the features. And how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I was a little bit scared. I was impressed with it when using it, but also like I couldn't fully enjoy it because I knew that this was, you know, a closed company that was, you know, harvesting data and stuff. So one of the things that we've started to explore, like we're starting to build a really strong Web3 AI community. And we started talking to people about, you know, how can we recreate ChatGPT in Web3 where, you know, the people who are used and contribute to the ChatGPT model can get rewarded as well. So there's a ton of work to do there, but I think it's a really good showcase of why we need Web3. I think so. Yeah, hopefully we can continue to work towards Web3 GPT, ChatGPT.
Totally right. Like my one of the big moments was when actually Elon Musk started ranting about that ChatGPT was based on 70% data from Twitter feeds, right? And I was thinking, man, you should have token gated them 2 years ago, and you wouldn't have this problem. Right?
Exactly.
But let's not keep out. We're losing time. I don't see further questions in the chat for now. I'm pretty sure way more people will watch this recording than have the time to join today because end of year. We'd like to see your demo then.
Okay, great. You can still see my screen, right?
Not me, but I hope the majority. Maybe Cassandra, can you pull it down from the wing into the main stage real quick for Richard? Or does anyone else already see Richard's screen and I'm just lagging again because of whatever bandwidth issue here?
I think it's back now.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Can everyone see? Yeah.
Give me a sec.
Okay, I think I see in the chat it says it's there. Yeah, cool. So this is just to note that this is a very we just launched this week. We started from scratch to build a new front end. So as I said before, we forked the Ocean Marketplace. It looked very similar to the Ocean Marketplace. And then what we really want to do is to have this builder for new AI workflows. And so we kind of started again from the front end, and this is version 0. And so, yeah, we have the homepage here with like a bunch of information, you know, like docs for developers and stuff. What you can do is sign in with your MetaMask, which should come up now. Very slow. Yeah, so you can sign in with your Web3 wallet. You can buy credits. So we've actually we use Coinbase Commerce to help people to onboard. And then you can browse AI workflows. So as I said, we only have one workflow at the moment, which is image generation using Stable Diffusion. But we're also adding a workflow for using GPT-3 for text summarization, which we think is going to be really useful. We're also working to onboard a bunch of workflows from our community. So one of our grants that we gave out was for creating animated GIFs using Stable Diffusion. So we're working to onboard that as well. We also want to create more integrations. Like, for example, we want it to be possible to use these workflows from within Discord. We want to be able to run them on Discourse data. We also want to be able to, you know, maybe upload to Notion, for example, for a community wiki. And so, yeah, keep an eye out because there's going to be a bunch of these being added soon. So just to click into the image generation workflow, like I said, it's super simple. So at the moment, you can choose between 2 different models. So I'm going to choose Stable Diffusion 2. And then I wonder if anyone has a good prompt. So an ocean of data in a solar punk high resolution.
That's a great one.
It as an NFT as well. And okay, here we go. Okay, interesting. Ocean of data in a solar punk world. So yeah, maybe you would want to iterate on the prompt a few times. You can keep generating new images. Let's just go ahead and mint it. So I'm just going to copy description here. And I'm going to mint it as an NFT. And yeah, so like I said, just really simple workflow. But what we're doing is it has an input prompt, then it has a AI model, and then also interacts with Web3 through the mint NFT button. So you can also imagine that in future, we would have a publish dataset to Ocean button as well. Okay, so that should be minting. And we'll be able to view it on OpenSea in a second. View on OpenSea. Okay, so just while that's loading, I want to also show you what our plan is. So this tab here is going to be like our workflow builder. So what we're working on at the moment is an add button. So you'll be able to add different blocks to your workflow. And so, for example, maybe the first block will be like an input prompt block. Then you'll have like a model block. Then maybe you'll have a publish to Ocean block, and you'll be able to basically build your workflows in this view, which is something that isn't possible on wouldn't have been possible on our fork of the Ocean Marketplace, for example. And then we also have this second tab, which is for interacting with the workflow itself. And this is a bit more like Gradio or Streamlit, which are app frameworks for AI. And so like during a lot of our OceanDAO grants, we worked with Gradio and Streamlit to integrate Web3. And that's where we're going to incorporate all of that experience. And so you're going to have this workflow builder to build workflows, and then you're going to have this kind of user interface tab where you can interact with the different workflows. And so you can imagine that, in future, another thing we're working to get up is like ChatGPT. So you'll be able to build like ChatGPT workflows, and then you'll be able to interact with ChatGPT here and maybe see the history of your conversation and stuff like that. Okay, and so just going to, so this is the OpenSea collection. I think I need to refresh it somewhere for this content to come up.
Yeah, sometimes after minting, it takes a minute or two to pull in the metadata.
Yeah, exactly. I can't remember where the refresh button is.
If it was a Mac, it would just be Command R.
I think there's like a refresh button on OpenSea itself.
Ah, this one. Yeah,
yeah.
It's top right.
Top right.
Top right.
Refresh metadata. There we go.
Yeah, but never
okay.
does that actually.
It says queued.
The NFTs there.
Yeah, and then you can see all of the different images that have been created using Stable Diffusion.
Generated before, right?
Yes, some of these were all generated with our app, and so yeah, we're just getting our community to start using it, and so hopefully there'll be much more if people check back. That's not refreshing for some reason.
So the one that you just created was just jittery because you said an ocean of data probably, and that led the AI to think about how do I display an ocean of data probably.
Yes, and here's actually one that I practiced earlier for the ocean of data. So yeah,
beautiful,
interesting. Yeah. So yeah, that's our app. As I said, we're still working on adding different workflows, adding more blocks like an Ocean block, an IPFS block, an Oracle block, all that sort of stuff. And so hopefully this is going to be the app where people can create, complex workflows on top of Web3 data. And so you can imagine, having text summarization workflows, maybe like summarizing discourse proposals, uploading to wikis, And that's basically what we want to do is, get Web3 organizations building AI workflows on top of their Web3 data. So that's our short-term plan.
Really slick. So this will also over time turn into sort of a launch pad and even product testing platform for AI builders that you micro seed, basically.
Exactly.
Really
That's
cool.
the plan. That's the hope.
That's really cool. Yeah, I also saw some people already geeking out about your work in the chat, like Data Union or Robin and then Manan as well. So I actually, every time I look at Algovera, it's hard for me to put in words because you mentioned money, and when you said leave your Web2 jobs and then do your own thing, there are certain things that you cannot buy with money, and that is sort of passion for technology and working with the people that have the same mindset, and that's what you build a home for, and it's awesome to see.
Yeah, this Web3 ride that I'm on at the moment was kickstarted by OceanDAO, and so Ocean's always going to have a special place in my heart. Some of my first steps into Web3 were through the Ocean community, and so yeah, I think it's an amazing service that Ocean has offered the Web3 community, and I think it's going to have a big impact on the world of Web3 and AI in future. I think Ocean has a huge reach in that area, I think.
Thank you, man. Thanks so much. And also, thanks again for coming here, which actually applies to all of you, to Amir, to Walid, to Phil, to Manan, and to you, Richard. So thanks for taking the time. Thanks for your brilliant presentations. And I think those were the demos. I don't know if you guys can see me now or hear me now because it's a little laggy here, but I hope you do. So thanks, Richard. And with that, I think we can close this event. Some last words I wanted to say. To all of us in OceanDAO, this event was really important because we started OceanDAO, or the team, long before I joined, started OceanDAO, where DAOs weren't really a big thing. It was challenged a lot, or people asked me, does it really, ROI doesn't make sense? And we funded a lot of projects, around 130, but the really powerful ones that really grew the ocean ecosystem that it is already today, but people only start to discover now. It really grew on top of OceanDAO, and we wanted to give you a first glimpse, but there will be more events around that. Expect one in February. Edition 4 will be around OceanDAO builders or ecosystem builders again. And that should have given you, we hope, a first look at this brilliant builder hub that was created 2 years ago for AI and data science in Web3, and some of the builders that it attracted, and also the journey it took and the topics we cover, like datalatte, individual data ownership, Desights, DeFi data challenges, and turning it into a platform, they're connecting it to other major blockchain protocols. walt.id, starting in OceanDAO, shaping standards now in the EU and worldwide with Gaia X, really bringing data NFTs into this world, and for that, paving the way for all Web3 and NFT technology to be positively accepted by institutions. And then finally, Algovera, I don't want to repeat everything that Richard said, but starting in OceanDAO as one builder, gathering more people and turning this into one of the, and I don't want to overestimate it, but I think most acknowledged AI builder platforms right now on this planet, to a point where you're in a very good position to seek funding with VCs. So you can see these networks effects kicking in. Thank you. And with all of that said, I wish you a Merry Christmas soon, if we don't speak or see again. And let's keep on building next year and empower this AI world with data sovereignty and data ownership on chain. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.